All right, welcome back in to another pregame show. This time we're coming off a loss, so it's not as sweet. But we got a huge game this weekend coming in. We got our guy Austin. Is it Austin M0430 on Twitter? Man, that's my guy right there. What give me something you're grateful for as you come in today.
Man, I'm grateful for the times that I've been able to watch Arkansas at what I think has been its peaks, other than the '94 basketball season, but being able to watch the around where it was 2010, where the football team was good, watching this run that Muss took us on, and then just watching Dave really rope it in to where we are one of the best baseball teams in the country. One of these times we're going to break through and win a national championship.
Maybe this year in basketball.
Yeah, next week's going to suck for him, but other than that, yeah.
What is happening? Welcome into the Gravity Design Lab studio. Let's get into the show. A&M. Different team, same results, same venue, same results. The venue's over. What are your takeaways from that game?
I'm glad we're done in Jerry World. Glad it's going back to a home and home. It was a tough game. I think pretty much everybody that watched it knew that, it was a tough one to watch.
Yeah, for sure. That was when your punter is your second leading rusher. And he had a 5-yard loss because he ran it twice. That's saying something, That kind of points you in that direction of how did that game just go? You had a bunch. You had what? How many turnovers did we end up having? 3. That's what I was thinking. 3. And yeah, your offense looked great starting out. I mean, that was probably the best pass that Green had all year was to Tesla going down the field on the run, just tossed it out there, and then they just decided to step up. Now the defense looked good all game until the very end, whenever A&M's line started kind of taking over and pushing us around a little bit.
The way A&M played it, it's not super surprising they didn't get any takeaways. I mean, they played it pretty safe, not really in a bad way or anything, but they were leaning on the rushing game. They gave their quarterback, short completions, and I mean, he hit a long one, but it was a wide open guy. It was a busted coverage. And he hit a few other passes, but he really didn't throw any dangerous passes or anything. So they played it fairly safe, and it worked out for them. But the defense is what kept us in the game. Offense had to make some plays, and they made a couple, but just not enough.
Yeah, there at the end when it was time to really take a little control and get it. I mean, it was 21-17, so it's your defense did everything they needed to do in today's day and age to win that game. But that's so what. Let me ask you this: there's been a lot of talk about Coach Pittman and how there's some struggles there, and this is probably his last year, and it's his fault. Blah 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 blah. How much of that? It's hard to say blame because I mean we're 3-2. We've lost 2 games by 1 possession, but that's the same old, same old. How much of that blame goes on Bobby Petrino?
I'm not a coach. I've never been a coach. I kind of hate to be, like an armrest coach or anything. Just somebody that sits on the couch and tries to do it because I don't know it as well as they do, obviously. But I mean, in my opinion, I feel like there could be some things that you could help Talon out. I mean, I don't think it takes a football coach to realize that Talon is a little rattled at the moment. This line is in no way as bad as it was last year. It kind of looked like it on Saturday, but it wasn't. It's still not as bad. A&M's got a defensive line. I mean, I don't think anybody can dispute that. And I think they made them look a little worse than they actually were. I'm not saying it's like a top overall unit in the SEC, but they're not nearly as bad as they were last year. But when they're obviously getting pressure and you're still doing drop back passes, you got to be able to adjust on that. They were allowing a free rusher, which is very standard for a read option. You allow one guy to come in, and that is what your quarterback reads. Is he diving, and then you pull the ball and you run outside, or is he sticking with the quarterback and then you hand it off and go inside? Their ends were too quick. They were able to diagnose it and get it in. That's what caused the first fumble, and they got it on the 10-yard line. He was there before Talon could even make a read. There's got to be adjustment to that. I mean, in my opinion. And Bobby's a smart guy. I don't think he'll keep making those same mistakes, but it was pretty tough to watch because it didn't seem like the game plan helped him out that much, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that was their A&M. What they have is speed. I think we could match up pretty well with them, but they're so fast, and I mean they're talented. They had the number one recruiting class. Was that last year or the year before? I mean, they have talent. hmm Yeah. So I mean, that's one thing, but I mean, I think overall they're probably underrated now, especially now that they have a quarterback. They had Wigman is what he is, but this young guy, he's going to be good. Which, of course, in true Arkansas fashion, here's a redshirt freshman quarterback coming in. I think in my mind, I can only think of one that we've really stopped, and that was Auburn, Hank Brown. That's the only one I can really remember. I mean, but I think we got a pretty bad matchup, if I'm being honest, coming up in Tennessee. That's I found myself in a couple of podcast rooms of Tennessee fans and media people and whatnot, and they told me that their strength is their defensive line and linebackers. And whenever you have a line that came off the game that just came off of, maybe they're nicked up, I don't know. That's not a great matchup. What do you see coming in this one?
I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I've watched 100 hours of Tennessee film or anything like that. But what I can tell you is that's what they're known for. They've got a really solid defensive line. It's one of the top in the SEC. They have a really good defensive line. They got a young quarterback that can make plays, and Josh Heupel always puts out a good offense. So it's the toughest matchup that we've got. I think it's the toughest game we're going to have all year. Um, I know we've talked about it and it's kind of skipping ahead, but Ole Miss, they kind of showed a chink in their armor. I mean, I still think Ole Miss is really good. Missouri's overrated. I'm not saying that we won't win that game or, we still won't lose that game. I mean, but I think Tennessee's the best team that we're going to play. I've picked Arkansas in every game so far this year because I think they honestly had a chance to win. And they have because, like you said, it's been 2 one-possession games. It's going to be an upset if we beat Tennessee. I lean towards Tennessee. It's a tough. They're good.
Yeah, for sure. I picked in my radio spot or digital radio spot. I picked Tennessee to cover, and the line is 13.5. It's gone down a little bit, so I think people heard me pick Tennessee, so they're like, "Oh, okay, let's throw some money at Arkansas." But, but I picked a little preview for a little bit later on, but I picked Arkansas to not cover, and that's the first time this year. No, well, that's not true. I picked UAPB to cover because the point spread was so big, but that was just because it was a lot of points and I couldn't resist, and I lost that one. So that is what it is. But I mean, we got a heck of a matchup in front of us. If we can get a few things going. If Jackson can get going again, if we can get our three, I think we have three receivers that I feel pretty good about right now, and Armstrong, Isaiah, and Tesla. I could see if they could get going, that would be great. I don't think I don't think any of our tight ends are healthy, like any of them. And that hurts. That hurts a lot because I mean they're coming into the year. I thought that was going to be one of the better groups. You know, I was like they're going to be solid. They were like all coming off of injuries, but now they all seem to be slowed up by different injuries. What do you who do you think will help us win this game? Like if we win this game, what's the recipe?
Defense has got to be solid, like it has been. I mean, it's a crazy trend, but young quarterback again. Was this 3 straight weeks we faced a redshirt freshman quarterback? So he's definitely the most talented of the bunch. But I mean, a young guy's a young guy, and I mean the guy last week was solid, but I mean he's not the reason they won. He didn't lose them the game, but he didn't win it. That's kind of where you got to come at it this week. You got to keep it to where Nico doesn't win the game for you. You got to keep him in check because that's how they'll score, and then they've got to figure out how to score on offense. I mean, that's point blank, bottom line. I don't think Tennessee's going to hang 60 on us or anything. So, I mean, if the offense can figure out how to score in the 30s, it's going to be a game. So, offense has got to get going. It's the biggest key. It's cherry picking, but Talon has got to. He doesn't have to be a Heisman contender this week or anything like that, but he's got to figure out. Don't throw interceptions. Make some solid passes. Use your run game. He's still a creative runner and get some yards. And that's going to help Jackson out. It's going to help JJ. If they are not putting 7 in the box and crashing on the run every single time, it's going to help Jackson out. And he's still the leading rusher in the SEC. If you got a passing game that will support him, it's going to open up a lot more holes for him. And that's how they'll win. It's obviously not impossible. Arkansas is a solid team, and they could definitely win this game at home. But it's going to be tough. They're going to have to play their best game of the year.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, this is the best team we played all year by a long shot. And there's the last game that they came off of. Of course, they're coming off a bye week, so you know there's that aspect that they're going to be fresh and ready to go on top of being the better team. But ESPN is giving us a 17.9% chance to win the game.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
If Arkansas is going to win, we have to make it sloppy. The crowd has to be into it. I mean, they went to Oklahoma, so they've had some road tests, and they came out. But that last game they played, it was 25-15. So yes, they won by 10 points, but that was a game they were supposed to blow them out.
They're thinking it's going to be mid-30s to somewhere in the low 20s. It's like a 35-21 game. They're thinking it's going to be somewhere around there, which is exactly what I was kind of throwing out there is, if you can get in the 30s, this game gets real interesting. That's where I think Tennessee is going to be around 30-ish points. If you can get there too, then it's going to be a real interesting game. But, I mean, you got there. If this turns into a 21-17 game, I don't see that happening. Tennessee's more talented on offense than A&M, and Arkansas played a heck of a game against A&M on the defensive side. I mean, the offense basically gave them 7 points when they scored on the 10-yard line. So basically held A&M to 14. I think and they played a good game, but they got tired at the end. I think Tennessee's better than that, so it's probably going to be in the they're going to score upper 20s, 30s. So if you can get there too, that's where it gets interesting. It's a home game. It's a night game. They got a lot to play for. They can play their hearts out. We got a bye week next week, so it sets up, hopefully.
Yeah, you're set up to where you could lay it all on the line this week and rest up next week. You got to take care of the football. I mean, that's while you're talking about the offense gifting them the ball at like the 10. What it was the 10? Is that right?
Yeah, it's about the 10-yard line. I think.
You give them the ball there. I mean, the defense isn't going to stop that most of the time. I mean, you got to take care of the football, and you got to cause. I mean, you're the underdog. You're the true underdog in this situation, so you have to cause chaos. I mean, make it dirty. Make it not dirty like cheap, but like make it a grimy game. Hit hard. Go after them. Gang tackle. I mean, you got to get after them. That's the only way you're going to win this game, because they're deep. Like, they're talented and they're deep. So it's like, it's tough. You got to be ready to go. Your offense has got to keep the ball long enough for your defense to get some rest. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces to this, but let's talk about the final story here. When it's all said and done, what's your final pick, official pick of this game?
Tennessee to cover, but barely. I think it's right there at that score I threw out. I think it's like 30. I hate to pick against Arkansas, but I got to in this instance. I think it's about Tennessee 35, Arkansas 21. I still, like you said, if we don't turn the ball over this year, which incredible ask, but I mean, turnovers have what lost us our 2 games that we've lost. I don't see that getting fixed this week. Probably going to have a couple of turnovers. I think the defense is still going to play solid, but let's just say hopefully we can get past this game, flush it, get into the bye week, and we can really start working on some of those issues. I'll feel better about the second half of the year.
Yeah, if we can get some momentum going, I'm with you. I think maybe around 38-17, something like that, maybe. Kind of, it hurts my soul to say that, but I hope I'm wrong. It's like I said this morning when I was on the show, I was like, that's I hope I'm wrong. I'm actively rooting against my pick, but they got to prove to me that they can do it, and that's kind of where we're at with it. Now, if they somehow pull this game out, my 6-6 prediction on the year might start changing a little bit, because then you have 2 one-possession losses and a top 4 win on top of it with a little momentum.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but if I'm giving my honest opinion, I think that's what it is. But yeah, I'm right there with you. You win this game, it changes a lot throughout the year. You're 4-2. You're going into a bye week, and like I said, there's still some winnable games on the back half of this schedule.
All right, well, there you have it. Tennessee by 1 million, I guess. I hope not. Well, we thank you for being here. If you made it this far, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what your score prediction is. That's we appreciate all the views we've been getting, but we need some of y'all to kind of interact. Give us some of your insights, some of your feelings, so we know where you're standing on things. So until next time, I'll see you next week. Until then, stay blessed, stay passionate. Tell somebody you love them.